Well, the kids are out of school and summer plans are being had. I don't know about you, but it is the summertime. And one thing about the summer here at State of the Water, we have our Community Impact Series. And today we're excited to have a guest here in studio to discuss a camp that they've been running for youth for over 3 decades. It's State of the Water. I'm your host, Eric Claville, and you're joining us for our Community Impact Series as we highlight the Hampton Roads Youth Foundation with none other than the co-founder, Vernon Lee. Once again, everyone, I would like to thank you for joining us. We hope that you are enjoying your summertime, staying safe, and also dry. I don't know about you, but we got a lot of rain here in Hampton Roads, and I think we got a lot across the country. So once again, hopefully you're enjoying your summer, staying safe, staying dry, and staying hydrated. As I mentioned earlier, one thing that we do, and we've been doing this blessed for doing over 6 years now. Every summer, we highlight organizations in our community that are doing phenomenal work in the community, whether it's youth programs, whether it's helping kids or adults or whatever the case may be, they're doing the work of the community. And today, we're going to kick it off, our Community Impact Series, with none other than a foundation that's been around for 3 decades. That's right. 3 decades. I don't know about you, but, there are some people that aren't that old that are listening to this show. But they've been doing it for over 3 decades for the youth, mentoring and supplying not just life skills and practice skills on the field, but also impacting generations to come. And that is the Hampton Roads Youth Foundation. So I'd like to welcome none other in the studio but Vernon Lee, co-founder of Hampton Roads Youth Foundation. Vernon, how you feel today?
Thank you. I feel great. It's always wonderful to be back home and to be here with you on campus, on the show. It's great. We're excited about it.
And that's right. We're on the campus of the Norfolk State University, home of the Spartan Nation, broadcasting from none other than WSB Hot 91, the soul of VA. We like to give that plug every time we start the show because it's very important, where we broadcast. And one thing about what you do is that you've seen kids, from elementary all the way up to college and possibly even the league. So you've seen the growth of what you guys do. Tell us, how does it feel to come every year to university and see kids that are currently in the program, but also that are matriculated and are grown men now?
It's surreal, but also a blessing. Like, there's no way Carl Francis, my co-founder, we could have done all this work without the community, with supporters like yourself, sponsors and donors. But it really is surreal when we take a step back, because it's never been about us. We've always consistently talked about this as a platform that belongs to the NFL players, coaches, and executives that want to come back and give back to the community. It belongs to the community. It belongs to everyone else. We've just been stewards of the Hampton Roads Youth Foundation, so we've been very blessed about that. And so to your question about being on campus, we've had almost 15,000 boys and girls that have come through the Hampton Roads Youth Foundation programs, whether it's the football camp itself, whether it's been a student-athlete leadership symposium. We've done SAT prep programs. We've had recruiting jamborees for unsigned seniors. We've had a number of programs, mentoring, law enforcement interaction, roundtables. And so a lot of those young men in particular that have gone on to matriculate at a number of different institutions, and certainly Norfolk State has been one of those.
Absolutely. The Hampton Roads Youth Foundation, also known as HRYF, has been a pillar of the community for over 30 years, believing in empowering and inspiring youth people as a key to producing the next generation of productive citizens. Vernon, even though this is a sports, centered foundation, you do more than just that. Tell us a little bit about what this foundation, how did it start, and why it's continued. You continue to work with it. Your co-founder, Carl, have continued for over 3 decades now.
Yes. And so for history, we're from the area. Carl and I grew up, born and raised in Hampton. He went to Bethel. I went to Hampton High, so we were rivals.
Absolutely.
Back in the day.
Well, listen, of course, we got some people from Hampton and Bethel that played. So, that rival is still strong.
That's
brother.
right. That's right. So we know that 757 rivalry at the high school athletic level is deep and wide. But Carl and I had a common bond, even though we went to rival high schools. He ended up Virginia Union University. I had the opportunity to go to Howard. Once I graduated from Howard, I was commissioned as a Air Force officer and lived in New Jersey, Ohio, and L.A. And Carl had a chance to intern with the Washington Redskins, at the time Redskins, now Commanders, but then got hired at the NFL Players Association. So literally one day he called me while I was in L.A. and said, I've got an idea. We should do this football camp and bring back NFL players to serve as counselors and motivators for the area youth. And that's really where it started 30 years ago.
Wow.
And so back then, though, we had old school guys, Dwight Hollier and Kwame Lassiter and Terry Kirby, Michael Husted. We had Martin Mayhew, who's not even from the area, but had a relationship with Carl. He was playing for the Redskins then. So Mayhew was at our very first camp also. And so I'm probably forgetting a couple of guys. But that's where it all started. We wanted to – Carl and I remembered the feeling growing up when Al Toon or Robert Banks or, Bruce
Al
Smith.
Toon, a great
guys.
jet.
Yeah, that's right. You know it.
Absolutely. Listen, as you're rolling those names off, I'm just going back with plays that I saw these guys here back in the day.
Beautiful thing. But the feeling of seeing them at the mall or at the barbershop, we wanted to create that same feeling of inspiration. And that's why we started reaching out. Oh, my God, Reggie Langhorne, Ty Kelly, all those guys that were in the league at the time or maybe had just retired. Mel Gray, for those out there, if you know your ball, you know Mel Gray and the records he has in punt returning, kick returning. But it was really that was the motivation, is to provide a platform for them to come back, to give back, and that's where this all started.
Absolutely. So from there, tell us about the very first camp. I
remember it well.
Right
I remember it well. Darling Stadium. It was hot. We had a 2-day camp. So for 25 years, day one of the camp was always for 8 to 13-year-olds, and the second day for high school student athletes. So, it was a hot day. I remember the mayor of Hampton, Jimmy Easton, came out. We had a lot of support. Coach Kaz, rest in peace, who recently passed, was a big early supporter. Coach Bill D, who was at Phoebus at the time. Rest in peace to Coach D. But those were some early supporters. And, oh, my goodness, Coach Riemann early on also. But they were all there. They brought their players. They brought equipment out for us, hand shields and cones and all the things we needed for the camp. And that's what it was. Again, it was hot, but it was extremely successful. We got a lot of support, media support as well in that first camp.
Absolutely. Yeah, rest in peace, Coach Riemann, as well, man. All these guys doing great. I mean, the legacy that they left, what we're looking at now, and then also to come. So that was the first years of it, but now it has grown into what it is now. Tell us a little bit about just looking at from where you started to where you are now. How does that make you feel of all the youth that you've impacted?
An extreme amount of pride, but also Carl and I, and this is where we're like-minded, we just wanted to be about the work. Again, never about it being about us. And sometimes we've heard over the years like, hey, you guys need to be out there more, but we always try to make it about everyone else in the platform, as I mentioned before. But the feedback we received, and again, let me be clear, we were going to do one camp. That was it. But the feedback we received from the coaches, community, the parents, every year just gave us more strength and support and the wherewithal to keep it going. But over the years, what we realized is, so we have great on-the-field instruction, offensive, defensive skill instruction, one-on-ones, 7-on-7s, very, very good technique. We're on time. We're very deliberate in terms of the execution of the camp. But we wanted to make it more than just football, right? That was the hook. The chat session, the hour chat session after the on-the-field instruction was always very, very important, because now the campers have the opportunity to ask questions of some of the pro athletes and coaches and scouts that have participated. And what we found is that it was almost therapy for the players themselves, because they were telling very personal stories about where they may have not made the right decision all the time, whether in high school or college or even as professionals, that sometimes were detrimental to their careers. And so that chat session really created something unique that we, even more than what we anticipated. And the feedback every year was, especially from the coaches and parents, you need to do, like, that chat session needs to be bigger. You need more time. And that's what kicked off starting to do the Student Athlete Leadership Symposium 7 think this will be our 7th year doing it.
Oh, wow.
So we realized we needed to do, and again, 30 years ago, there were no camps or clinics. And right now we have the William & Mary had a camp, a Colonial All-Star football camp. But right now, 30 years straight, we're the longest continuous football camp in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And I know we're close to nationally also for 30 years. But that's what we realized we needed to do another program and do workshops around mental wellness and financial literacy, teen dating, violence, name, image, and likeness, branding, marketing. So those are the things that grew out of the chat session that created the Student Athlete Leadership Symposium, which we host in the fall now.
You know, that's amazing. You said you only want to do one camp.
That was it.
You got the call, like, let's
go back home. We don't live there anymore. Let's get the guys back. Nice weekend. And, yeah, here we are 30 years late. 30 years later, 15,000 student athletes later, and close to $5 million in impact.
Outstanding. And I'm pretty sure you're getting, with the support that you had in the beginning, you're getting a lot more support now. Tell us a little bit more about, since that very first camp, rattle off some names, some people that have now become a part of this, that have volunteered their time or even their name to this camp.
I always like to start with, it's so many guys. We've had over 200 players, coaches, executives that have come back to support. But Tyrod Taylor, the nephew, I just give him, I'm extremely proud of him. Yeah. As an 8-year-old in the camp and participating from elementary to middle school to high school to being at Virginia Tech, coming back and certainly going into his 16th year. Extremely proud of him.
Man, 16 in the league?
Incredible.
Wow.
Not just on the field, off the field, the things he's doing in terms of in the community and entrepreneurship. But Ty is someone we're just extremely proud of. But we've had a lot of other guys from, obviously, Mike Tomlin, for many years. His first camp that he came to support, he was a defensive backs coach for Tampa Bay. And I remember at the time, as we're introducing all the active players, Aaron Brooks, Michael Vick, Kwame Lassiter, so many different guys. And then we got to Coach Tomlin. We're like, and the defensive backs coach for Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It was a nice applause. But so that was 2 years. Next year, he's the defensive coordinator. We introduced him again. The people were like, oh, well, wait a minute, defensive coordinator. So the applause got a little bit louder that year, and then the year after he becomes the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So definitely Mike T. I know I'm missing so many guys.
19 years later.
19 years later. So it's been great having his support over the years. We've had some non-757 people support. Stephen A. Smith, a number of years ago, came down and spoke to the campers before the camp started. Great. His interaction about the media and thinking about decision making was really good. Michael Smith, who used to be an anchor on ESPN as well. The great late John Amos, actor, who actually, he tells a great story. He got cut by the Kansas City Chiefs, and the head coach at the time basically encouraged him to go to get into the arts, because there were some things that John Amos had did during the camp or during training camp. But as a result of him getting cut, he went to Hollywood and started his acting career. Wow. And so 3 years in a row, Mr. Amos came down. Again, not charging any fee. Stephen A., these guys, everybody comes on their own dime. The guys that are here, they're coming back home. Yeah. They're not charging us any fees or anything, but it's opportunity for them to give back as well.
Outstanding. We were talking before the show, and I reminded you that my two sons actually participate in the program. Matter of fact, after we finish, I'll show you some pictures.
I love it.
And now, they're grown men. Of course, one is about to be an alum of your institution.
Super proud of him.
And also a member of your fraternity. It's okay.
That's right. Make us Phi Fraternity Incorporated.
He went the other way. He went to the other 1911.
That's right.
It's okay. And then the other is currently an NCAA athlete, plays basketball for Methodist University in North Carolina.
Amazing.
So, but they both participated in that camp. I've got video of them catching passes.
I love that.
Going through tackling drills, the whole nine. But like I said, they're now grown men doing their thing in college. But there's so many stories like that. And actually, the first camp we attended, it was with John Amos when he was there, and also Mike.
That was the first one?
Yeah.
Oh, that was a good
It was overseeing you.
And in fact, Stephen A. may have been at that one. Oh, no, maybe Michael Smith. Yeah, it was a couple of years.
It was Michael Smith. No, it was Stephen A.
It was Stephen, yeah.
Stephen A.
Yes, Stephen A. was there. Yeah, John Amos, Mike T.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we had a bunch of guys that year.
Absolutely. I mean, so that was like our introduction to HRYF. So, and we've been a part of it in some capacity every single year. So again, to me, this is also a great moment to sit here across from you.
And thanks for constantly sharing that, because we get those stories, and that also gives us energy. That's how we've made it 30 years, is hearing parents tell the story, that the impact that the camp had, that interaction, either they started studying a little bit more, or their motivation, or they took one nugget of something that contributed to them continuing, whether academically or athletically. So
absolutely. You mentioned something about the panels, and you mentioned a couple of empowerment sessions that you hold now that I think are so important. The financial health and the mental health. A lot of times, of course, growing up, we grew up in the same era. You just toughed it out, right? And then, of course, when you came into money, you really didn't have money, so you didn't know what to do with money, so you balled out. But now you're helping these young men make better decisions. Tell us a couple of stories, if you don't mind, about the impact that these financial seminars and the mental health have had on young men that you know.
Yeah, we started to realize several years ago at the beginning of NIL, but even from personal interaction with some of the NFL players and guys that were friends of ours that didn't necessarily make all the right decisions while they were playing in the league. And as I mentioned, my co-founder, Carl, working at the NFLPA, he's seeing hundreds of these stories quite often. Wow. So we knew that was a gap, even though the NFL Players Association does an amazing rookie symposium and has a number of resources. We wanted to start earlier. What we realized is, let's start to plant those seeds earlier with student athletes at the high school level, which is what, again, prompted us to start to do some of the programming, to hear about financial literacy, hear about budgeting. What is a checking account? What does that mean? What does it mean to start savings? And so we thought, let's start that a little bit earlier. And we know that with repetition, the next time they hear it, there'll be hopefully some recall of, oh, that's right, I was at that, whatever the Hampton Roads Youth Foundation, whatever that thing was, and I was in this workshop and they were talking about this. So ideally, the mental capacity around financial literacy and being responsive, they could start to hear that, whether they're hearing it in the home or outside of the home. We wanted to at least be a part of starting to plant that seed and investing in their mental capacity around financial literacy and responsiveness.
Absolutely. And what's one of your, if I ask you, what's one story that stands out, from an impact made up on one of your campers? What would that be?
That's a good one. I was at Busch Gardens. This was probably 15 years ago with my family. And by the way, I haven't been back to Busch Gardens in a while. It's happened. Yeah. But being in an amusement park, being at Busch Gardens with my family, and to have a young man come up to me who was actually working during the summer, say, hey, don't you do that football camp? And you had the NFL players there. I was like, yes. What's your name? I was like, Vernon Lee. For him to give a personal testimony around the impact of the messaging, not just the on-the-field skills part, but specifically about the chat session and how motivated he felt academically and to work harder. That one probably stands out. I've been going to restaurants, parents and student athletes that have come up and introduced themselves because they remember my face or something we said. But I think the Busch Gardens one, because that was just so random, getting off the Loch Ness Monster or something, to have that young man say that was meaningful. And that one kind of stands out.
Wow! And with the thousands of people that are at Busch Gardens,
thousands
on any given day.
Yeah, that's not coincidence. I mean, that's God. That is God, angels speaking and communicating and messaging that. Keep going, because it really means something to those kids.
Absolutely. Using sports as a metaphor for life, the HRYF serves as a catalyst for academic success and responsible citizenship for youth. It is Stay the Water. I'm your host, Eric LaVille, and you're joining us for our Community Impact Series as we highlight the Hampton Roads Youth Foundation and the work that they are doing. In studio, we have with us none other than one of the co-founders, Vernon Lee, who's discussing the impact of this organization, its humbling beginnings, and the legacy that it's starting to leave. Vernon, this happens every year. It's been 30 years, so this year is going down again, right?
It's going down July the 10th and 11th. We have our VIP reception at the Virginia Air and Space Museum in Hampton from 7 to 10. We highly, highly encourage patrons in the community to come out and support to buy a ticket, because those purchase of that ticket helps our scholarship program and keeps all those programs I talked about earlier free. And so we've got an amazing lineup. We're going to honor a couple of special people: Dr. Lee Vreeland from An Achievable Dream, Coach Mike London, head coach at William & Mary, who's been a big advocate and supporter for us for a number of years. We've got several rookie and some veteran NFL players that are coming back to participate as well. We've got a band, we've got a DJ, we're going to have some amazing raffle items and auction items as well. And most importantly, or just as importantly, we're going to be awarding $30,000 in scholarships. So we've selected 10 amazing student athletes, boys and girls, that will receive $3,000 scholarships each. And we'll be announcing them very soon, but that'll be the highlight of the night to really lift them up, some of which have been previous supporters in the camp, participants in the camp as well. So we really, 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 really want, and thank you to our sponsors that are helping to make this happen: An Achievable Dream, Priority Automotive Charities, NFL Foundation, USA Football, Town Bank, Town Insurance, and the Maddie Fund, who was founded by a local Virginia Beach, Norfolk resident. She's done some amazing things. Dr. Alfie Breland Noble, who started the Maddie Fund. We're going to be making a very special announcement at the reception around what the Maddie Fund has done to support Hampton Roads Youth Foundation. So that's the reception. We got the camp on Saturday, the next day on July the 11th at Christopher Newport University. It's still open registration, which ends on July the 7th. There's no on-site registration, so please register. That's free of charge.
Say that again?
It is free.
Parents, 100%. Are you listening? Are you listening? Grandparents, you're listening. It is a free camp, and I can attest to it. It is free. We still got the T-shirt.
That's right. And there's boys and girls. We've had some amazing young ladies come out and participate as well.
You know, you mentioned girls. Look, flag football is one of the biggest sports craze now, especially among women. I mean, it is blowing up.
And super excited to see that. And fun fact, so Carl's son, my nephew, Brandon Francis, works at USA Football. He actually oversees the flag football program for USA Football. So he actually literally flies around the country putting on camps and clinics and programming for women, for the young ladies also. So it's great that you mentioned that, because that's something we've always cared. It's always been open to, even though it's traditional football, but it's open to boys and girls.
Absolutely. Does he need an intern?
Hey, maybe.
That sounds like it's a great gig, flying around the country, holding camps.
That's right. Yeah, Brandon's doing an amazing job. So that's Saturday. And then we're going to wrap everything up with a fun celebrity bowling party at Spare Times in Hampton.
All right. That's
a nominal fee, $20 to get in. DJ, but your $20 covers shoes and music and unlimited bowling.
Right. Wow.
So yeah, we got a fun-filled weekend. A lot happening July the 10th and 11th.
All right, so let's go back to the start of it. So it's going to start on July 10th. July 10th, it's going to be at the Air and Space Museum, and let us know what's going to take place there one more time.
Yes, so it's from 7 to 10 p.m. You can go to our website, hryf.org, to get your tickets. So it's going to be great food. That's very important. We're going to have auction items. We're going to have raffle items for people to participate in. We've got a live band. We've got a DJ. DJ Precise is going to DJ for us. We've got a number of special guests, and we're going to have a fireside chat with some of the NFL players and rookies. And we're still confirming a couple of guys right now.
Can you give us a sneak peek, or you want to wait for that?
Yeah, we're gonna make some announcements. Follow us on all of our socials. We're gonna be making some announcements very soon on some of the participants. So follow us at HRYF757 on all our socials, certainly on the website. But we're gonna be making some announcements for some of the guys that are confirming.
That's it. That's what's up. So Air and Space Museum, downtown, great city of Hampton, overlooking the bay, a phenomenal setting, a great night from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Come out, enjoy yourself, do hryf.org and get your tickets. And parents, the next day, guess what? You could drop your kids off at this free camp.
That's right. Free camp, 8 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. And in addition to the camp instruction and the chat session.
And where's that camp going to be held this
At
year?
Christopher Newport University on July the 11th from 8 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. We have a catered lunch, so we're going to feed the kids
Parents
after
may
the
want to
camp
stick
is
around.
over. That's right. And we have some goodie items that we're going to be giving to the campers as well.
Absolutely. And then there where they have some of the discussions. And
Yeah, but we'll still have the chat session with some of the NFL guys. In some years, when it's possible, there are some collegiate student athletes that we try to have an opportunity to tell part of the story, because what we found is that, interesting enough, some of the high school student athletes are connecting, because they're trying to get to that next level.
Yeah.
So we may have a couple of those guys attending as well.
Oh, that's what's up. So then there they'll get instructions, and of course, who are some of the volunteers that will participate this year, or some of the coaches and the like for these clinics?
So we have a number of high school coaches that will actually be conducting the drills and skill sessions so both sides of the water, actually, both the PD and South Side. We've got a number of coaches that will be participating. So top level instruction by those coaches. And then certainly some of the college student athletes, we like to have them come back. As you mentioned before, they participate in the camp. So they actually serve as instructors and doing some of the drills. So it's always interesting seeing the college student athletes trying to instruct the high school students, because now they get an idea of, this is what coach is telling me to do about attention to detail. So it's always interesting seeing that. And certainly the NFL players and scouts, guys like Donovan Cotton, NSU alum, Hampton High alum, now a scout with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But having guys like him come back and provide instruction and perspective around technique and attention to detail is really important.
Absolutely. You can't get away from those Spartans, huh?
No, yeah, that's right. They're everywhere. I love them though. It's all love. All HBCU love.
That's right. And then of course later that night, spare times, $20. Come have a great time. Bowling.
Unlimited bowling.
Unlimited
for
bowling.
$20.
So, you could dust off, and parents, you could show out, with the bowling skills. If you can't get on the field, like I cannot get on the field anymore.
That's right. And again, we have a DJ, so people are dancing. Like if you want to come and socialize and just be a part of the atmosphere, if you're not a great bowler, but being in the space and connecting with other people, it's a good time. It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. The Hampton Roads Youth Foundation celebrating 30 years, 3 decades of serving the community. Once again, using sports as a metaphor for life, serving as a catalyst for success and responsible citizenship throughout their lives. Vernon, we thank you so much for being in studio, for being here as we kick off our Community Impact Series. But the listeners, don't forget, go to hryf.org. That's hryf.org to get your tickets for July 10th. And also make sure you bring your kids to Christopher Newport University on July 11th for their free camp with instructors and also these impactful chat sessions, a full impactful day that these kids will never forget. I can testify to it.
That's
my son's never
testimony.
forgotten.
But please pre-register.
Yes, pre-register.
Because we free T-shirts and food and all those things. We want to make sure because we do have to cap it at 250 campers. So please, please, please pre-register.
That's it. And also follow the socials at HRYF757. That's at HRYF757. Vernon, you get the last word.
I just want to thank the entire community, as I mentioned, on behalf of our board of directors and Carl, my co-founder. There's just no way we would have thought 30 years. It's just not possible. That wasn't part of our vision. It was just to give back to the community that raised us. We love the 757. We love the 7 cities. Whenever we're somewhere else, you can't talk bad about the crib. And we carry a lot of pride. And that happens wherever we go when you meet someone from the area. And so I just want to say thank you to all our volunteers. There's so many people that show up year in and year out, giving of their time, talents. And again, for our sponsors that really make it possible. There's no way we would be able to do this without the sponsors, and certainly our media partners, and providing a platform for us to tell a story and to amplify and to help us celebrate 30 years. We're excited.
Absolutely. 30 years and counting. And we want to thank you for listening, as you always do, as we broadcast from the campus of the Norfolk State University, home of the Spartan Nation, for none other than WNSB, Hot 91, the soul of VA. Until next time, be good, be great. God bless, and we'll see you next week.
Hi, I'm Carrie Washington, and you're listening to State of the Water with award-winning host Dr. Eric Claville.